welcome to today's video. Today's going to be so much fun. It's going to be very different from what I've done in a very long time because it's going to be a tutorial where I am really discussing makeup and talking about enhancing features. I'm talking about why I'm choosing colors. I'm talking about why I'm going to it and through it step by step, and not just saying, and now I'm taking this, and now I'm taking this. I feel like we here on YouTube get very jaded because we expect you who have been watching us as part of the beauty community, as a viewer, but part of the beauty community in that sense, to know. And some people are just tuning into their first video. And so this very fun video is going to have commentary in it based on what I've heard people ask, based on what I've heard people say while I'm attending seminars or conventions or classes, and they already are kind of in the industry or have a general idea of makeup. So some of the commentary I'm inserting is kind of like what I'm thinking a little bit as it pertains to makeup. All of it's very sweet, all of it's very kind. There's nothing in here that would make somebody feel inferior or cut them down. They're all very basic questions. I think most women have been applying makeup, you know, maybe since they were 12, maybe a little older, maybe 12, 16, 18, whatever, and they want to parlay into trying out these fun trends, but they want to know why they would choose a tool, why they would pick a brush, why they would choose this finger, why they would use the beauty sponge that way. I mean, it's one thing to pick up these trends and techniques by watching everybody, but it's another thing to actually be told why we're doing them. You know, it's one thing to be told to balance your beauty blender, but it's like, why do I care? Why is my beauty blender damp? So I'm gonna go into that today. So if it's a little cheese, that's why, and I'm really sorry if it's a little cheesy, but I really wanted to try to help somebody out in a very different way than what I've done before on my channel. So I really hope that you enjoyed today's video. It's going to be a medium to full beauty makeup that is very socially acceptable. It's nothing too Instagrammy, it's nothing too drag queeny, it doesn't involve baking. And although my brows are a little bit harsh, we'll go through that as well. And a lot of the makeup I use in today's video is also very affordable while inserting some high-end products, which I feel most women do have. And of course, we're going to start off with skin prep, and it's always important to know why we're doing skin prep as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's video because I had a lot of fun putting it together for you, and I'll see you guys. Okay, so to get started on today's look, we're going to begin first with skincare because without beautiful skin, you can't have beautiful makeup. So the very first product I like to take is, of course, my facial toner. And the reason I do that is because it balances out my pH level, and it also makes the skincare much more susceptible to actually sinking into my skin and working better for me. And the next product I do like to take is, of course, a serum. I'm going to be taking my Andalou Naturals Fruit Stem Cell Science Do-It-Yourself Booster SPF 30 Age Defying product, and this does have white tea in it. And the reason I really love this one is because not only does it boost your moisturizer by having that SPF in there for protection, it's also boosting the anti-aging benefits of your moisturizer. So what a serum really does is it's a 5 times concentrate skincare product. So it has 5 times the benefits of what your moisturizer can give you. Now, with that being said, you still need to go ahead and apply a moisturizer. This product actually doesn't really have moisturization properties. It is literally the meat, the juice, the bare backbones of what your moisturizer does benefits wise. So now you still need to put on a moisturizer to lock in and protect the barrier of your skin. Of course, I would always choose taking something that has a little bit of an SPF in it. Now I do get my moisturizer gratis from my brand because I do work as a beauty artist. So I'm just going to go ahead and take a pea-sized amount of that. It's a little larger than a pea-sized amount. But if you're somebody who likes to pull it all the way down to your neck, you know, they used to not kind of teach that back in the day. And you can just go ahead and press your moisturizer in and then bring it all the way down to the neck to lock in your moisture barrier. Now, of course, if you're a foundation applier first, you can always go ahead and apply your foundation now. I like to start with the eyes, especially when I'm doing something much more on the fun side, but even when I'm doing something simple, I just really like to start with the eyes. That way I can allow those moisturizers, maybe even a primer if you wish, to settle into the skin and really work for me. So the first thing I'm going to be taking here as far as color goes is the concealer from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is 0.5, and this is a really tacky sticky base. So I'm just going to kind of be a little bit messy with this and dot this on. Next, I'm going to be taking one of my beauty blenders, and this is the Beauty Blender Pro. Doesn't matter, you can take the pink one if that suits you. But I'm going to go ahead now and slightly dampen my beauty blender. And the reason being is because you want this product to just kind of tuck and roll and pounce with you. If it's dry, it'll pick up too much extra product. So by wetting it, I'm going to retain the product on my skin and get the most out of it. Nobody likes waste, and nobody likes tugging either, and a damp or beauty blender will not tug the way a dry will. We are just going to go ahead now and start with the fun. The fun. Everybody loves color, so we have some color here from ColourPop, and I'm really excited to play with it today because I have so much of it, and I've been hauling ColourPop like mad because I just can't get enough of it, and lately I can't get enough of it. I love the affordability, I love the fun colors, I love that you get kind of a little surprise in the mail, I love that it's very non-traditional compared to other things you see on the market. I've been really excited about this color for a very long time, but I have yet to pick it up for myself. So I'm just going to go ahead and open this little case here, and this is the color So Quiche. And So Quiche is a neutral with a little bit of a rainbow iridescence to it. And these apply best, they say, with your finger. So we'll start with that recommendation. And they say you can apply these without an eyeshadow base. I never like to go there. I always like my insurance for my shadows to be in place. And if you have a crease, then this should be easy for you to follow. And if you don't, just find out where your socket is and rock it in your socket. Blending with your fingers can be tricky. You might have to go back over the socket line one more time. And then don't be shy, just use the warmth of your finger. It shouldn't come off. So Quiche, I could possibly begin to think of his Modern Renaissance palette. Now this has a lot of fun warm browns in it. Of course you can take any fun warm browns you like. I'm gonna go ahead and take this palette now because it has some of my good basics, and I think that they're a really fun opposition to the crazy kind of padded down pigments that are ColourPop. So I'm just going to go ahead now and grab a fluffy blending brush, and we'll grab some basic colors from this just to dress up this eye a little bit. Now we're going to grab a fluffy blending brush. This brush at hand will take up the least amount of pigment, and the reason it takes up the least amount of pigment is because it is longer tipped and splayed and fluffy. So this will give you the most amount of product control. We're going to be holding the brush by the end of the handle because it's going to give the brush more control versus our hand, making the blending much more easier since that is what this brush was designed to do. So we're going to go ahead now and take a little bit of tempera, and once again I'm left-handed, so occasionally I'll reverse if that's how you learn, but tempera. And we're just going to apply that to the arch of the brow bone. Like I said, if going backwards on the hand kind of confuses you, I'm not doing anything fancy, just pretend I'm right-handed. So we're just going to go ahead and blend that out at the arch of the brow bone. Raw sienna, I think that would be really fun and draw out the colors in So Quiche because it's opposite really. And since So Quiche has some purpley glitters in there, raw sienna being kind of an orange base, I think this would be fun. Once again, holding the brush at the tail end and letting it do all of its work for me, I'm just going to manually maneuver that brush, so to speak. And taking rotating motion circles just so there's no harsh edges on my fingered blending work. Also just to give the eye a little bit of contour. We're not going to be like layering and layering and layering and creating just like a web of color, but we're more or less just going to be adding and enhancing. So now I'm just going to go ahead now and take Vermeer, which is a really nice shimmering champagne color. This color is also really beautiful for a highlight, you guys, if you're not immune to using it for that. And then I'm only brushing this on the tail arch of the brow bone, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'd like to raise and enhance this arch and create a little bit of a glow, so when I turn my head I have that flash of healthy looking glow. I'm not going to bring it in right underneath the brow bone because that'll kind of cause it to jut forward, so we don't want that kind of a contour, or as they say, non-tour, which is contouring without color. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply that in the inner portion of my eye to create that wonderful gleam and awaken and soften the look of the eye. Now I love tight lining, and if you're somebody who kind of grew up watching YouTube videos, you probably know all about tight lining. So we're just going to go ahead and apply this in the inner rim of the eye, and that is just going to kind of enhance the color of the eye. Anybody can use a brown eyeliner, whether you have blue eyes, whether you have green eyes or violet eyes. This is just going to be an all-out enhancer for it, because just about any eye color is the opposite of brown. So that split complementary color usage is going to enhance our eye shape, our eye color, and just really give us that beautiful eye. Now the reason I'm not taking black is because it doesn't have a color to it, so it can conceal the size of our eyes and not really bring any color forward. Rather, it will just rim our eyes and make it so colors that may not be our skin's best attribute can kind of sit on top. Not really what I want. So let's just go ahead and, like little segment, we don't want to work against our makeup. We want to enhance our features with our makeup, whether you're doing a soft, dramatic, whatever look you're doing. And so with that being said, next I'm going to be taking the Kat Von D Lock-It Foundation to kind of clean up some of the ruddiness in my skin so that you do notice my features more versus the imperfections of my skin. So I'm going to be taking 3 half pumps, and this is the shade Light 44. It is a cool based foundation, and even though it is cool based, it'll still conceal the redness in my skin. So making sure our beauty sponge is still damp, I'm just going to go ahead and pick up some of that product on the tip, and we're just going to go ahead and roll. You could even take a circular motion with the tip if you wanted to and really buff it into your skin. And then just kind of press underneath the under eye using a slight tapping motion. You don't want to be too aggressive. Another thing you could also do is dot one on the center of the forehead, and this is a stay in place makeup kind of, so you do have to move quite quickly with it. So if you are going to do it this way, you do have to buff. So you can take a little bit on the cheek, a dot on the forehead, and a dot on the chin, and then just kind of quickly clean up your skin tone and complexion for that flawless, beautiful skin. And of course, we allowed all that moisturizer to seep into the skin to help create that flawless skin. Because once again, without flawless, beautiful skincare, you can't have flawless, beautiful foundation. So we're just gonna go ahead and buff that in. Now, foundation and concealer are 2 separate things. You don't need a flawless complexion when you're just dealing with concealers. You don't need a flawless complexion when you're just dealing with foundation. So a foundation will just enhance our canvas and give us a finish that we want. If we're really dry, maybe we want radiance. If we're really, really, really oily, maybe we want something mattifying, because our face will naturally, of course, break down our foundation as the day goes on. So the choice is up to you to make regardless of what your skin type is. It's really all up to you. So we have taken this, and now as I'm looking at my skin, I'm noticing that I would still like a little bit more coverage. We're not going to be doing another layer of foundation because we've already covered quite a bit of it. This is full coverage. So I'm going to be perfect, but we're going to go ahead now and take the Kat Von D Lock-It Concealer. Nobody's perfect. So we're just going to go ahead and dot that where I feel I need more coverage. Tend to get a little bit of scarring on the chin. Analyze my skin. Where else would I like it? A little bit more coverage. This is a very creamy but very airy textured concealer. So whenever you're buying one, I would also look at the texture, because sometimes they can mimic the foundation, because the whole point of concealer, like a serum, is that it is concentrated. So we're just going to go ahead now and dot that in, maintaining that we still have that wet beauty blender. If you haven't wet your beauty blender yet, do so now, because we don't want our concealer to be absorbed, and we certainly don't want to rub our concealer in. And the reason we don't want to do that is because we don't want to have a dry skin texture, we don't want to add texture to our foundation, and we want to get the most out of our concealer. We want coverage. So that's why we're putting this on. So looking at my skin, you can decide now if you want a powder. Okay, I'd like some powder, so I'm going to be taking a little bit of the e.l.f. Cool Toned Complexion Enhancer. This is a color corrector now. So we're going to be going ahead now with my Plain Jane Beauty Ingold brush, and I don't want matte skin everywhere, just a touch. So I know that my blush gets streaky when I don't set my face, so there we go. And I know I have an oily T-zone, I'm combination. I don't want my eyeliner to run, so I'm just going to go ahead now and ensure that it does not go anywhere all day long. I'm going to go in with Raw Sienna, which was my basic color, and taking just the tips of my flat stiff shader brush, I'm going to run that right underneath my lower lash line. Not only is this going to give me a little bit more of a slightly dramatic look, but it means if my eyeliner does budge, it's going to run into that eyeshadow before it goes down my face. And I feel like I'm closing up my eye socket, so let's go ahead now and take a little bit of Vermeer. If you have an artistic flair, you're of course always practicing. It doesn't matter if you're not a makeup artist. If you're practicing this as a freedom or a form of expression or a form of art, then it's your version of art. So we're just going to go ahead now and take a little bit of mascara to enhance our eyes further, remembering that mascara is the added polish. We don't really need to go in and add more colors. I hate when mascara gets on my upper lash line, so maybe it'd be nice to have a little bit more flair. Now, I feel like my skin's too pale and I feel like I need shape. So I'm going to go in with my Paradisco Cove Super Shock Cheek. And in all seriousness, you guys, the reason I am bronzing and contouring first is because I want to get the shape and the sculpt of my face before I overdo my eyebrows. We don't want a harsh brow. Just kind of buffing it in. This is a really soft color, but if you really want to amp it up, I feel like I have kind of a big face, so I can't really do the E perfectly in one fell swoop, but you don't need fishy brush strokes to handle it. You don't need 50 brush strokes to conquer it. I usually like to stop about there, but if you're somebody who really likes to take it down the jawline, do you. Who doesn't want to look like they're going on a holiday? So next, we're going to be taking Holiday. And the reason I'm taking Holiday is because it's a really fun sunset-y color. And we're going to be blending this ColourPop Holiday onto the cheeks. Now once again, you don't need 50 brush strokes, you don't need harsh blush, so we can always go in and just do an X shape and then just kind of buff out that X. This lighting in this bathroom is pretty bad. I know if I go out in direct sunlight it's going to look better. Now, I have a new highlighter I want to play with today, so let's go in with a little bit of Hippo. Wait, this is not Hippo, this is Monster. And I keep calling it Hippo because I'm shocked at how duochrome-y and flashy it is. So let's go ahead now and take a little bit of Monster. I'm taking my e.l.f., this is the e.l.f. face brush. It was designed for sculpting in mind. Makes sense though. And then just add that highlight using circular motions straight across my upper cheekbone. If you really want to simplify, you could always take a little C shape. I love to highlight my Cupid's bow because it brings the lip forward and underneath just to clean up the line of the lip. Notice how my lips are already hydrated? I want that to absorb before putting on any lip products. When we're doing the nose, we don't want to just highlight just the tip. You don't want to look like you're snorting Coke. So we're just going to go ahead and go down the nose bridge. I said it because we're thinking it. And then just the forehead. So I'm going to go ahead now and take ColourPop brow color. And the reason I'm taking this is because I changed my hair color and I really need a new brow color. So I got the shade Redhead because I feel like this is a truer red than where I was going before. So let's go ahead now and take a brow pencil, or sorry, a brow brush. A lot of even brow pencils nowadays are coming out with an angular shaped, kind of a, like a marker type shape. Just gonna share that with the other brow. It's a lot of pigment. I've heard from oily skin girls that the ColourPop ones work really well. They stay all day. Don't quote me on that. This is my first time playing with Redhead. And I chose this because I saw bad reviews on the pencils, like they were falling out of the case. So I decided to go ahead and get the potted product. Ooh. Clean up crew. And I don't like the stencils because stencils are not one size fits all. They don't work with my face shape. And although I don't have great eyebrows, I'm just gonna go with my natural shape and enhance it. I'm not saying that to cut myself down or fish for compliments. I just don't want to send everybody out in the world with markered brows. Okay. Now, if you have spoolies in your house, that's great. If you don't, that's great. We can improvise. Now, they do sell basic, you know, spoolies at Sally's Beauty Supply. Some brush sets have spoolies. We don't have a spoolie that I'm aware of. I probably used to have it on a brush set a long time ago. Probably just don't currently have it. Pulling excess color that is not necessary out of the shape of the brow hair. Taking my brush and just dipping back into what I used on my face. Lip colors, new lip colors, yay! So what do I choose? I think Magic Wand would be fun. It's got a little bit of brown in it. I don't want to get any transfer on my teeth. Some finish. So this is my jam. No fragrance, but that's always the best sometimes.